Sports Monthly, an in-depth look at Cuesta athletics. I'm your host, Peter Schuler, and this month we open with women's soccer and men's water polo. We should also take some time to visit with Cuesta's Vice President, Jason Curtis, for a comprehensive view of what's happening at Cuesta College. So first we'd like to welcome Magali Avila and Jordan Bullard from Cuesta Women's Soccer here to Cuesta Sports Monthly. So welcome, ladies. Season's getting along right now. You kind of had a big tie last week with number 9 Ventura. How are you guys feeling about the season so far? Hits and misses so far, a little banged up here and there, but how are you guys holding out up there?
Yeah, I think we go into each game really just not really expecting anything, not really having any expectations because it's new. At least for me, I'm kind of new and I haven't come in with any expectations of any of the opponents really. So I think we're just taking it game by game and it's going.
Yeah, like she mentioned, we're going game by game. It is difficult to know even like at a community college what to expect since every year new players come in, you know, people are leaving. But yeah, I feel like we're giving it all we got each game. There is obviously a little room for us to find more of a connection and to play together. But so far, even though it's been like a rough start, we're hopefully looking up after the tie on Friday.
Yeah, that was kind of a big game for you guys, and it was really exciting to watch. Now, Magali, you came in as a freshman in 2019 season, got Cuesta to the playoffs for the first time, conference goalie of the year. So big accolades for you there. But sitting out last year, what did that do for you, for the team, and how much were you able to improve and move up and get ready for this year?
Being completely honest, it did kind of feel like a setback, just having that time off, and especially it was the whole pandemic, COVID, most of like gyms and every like indoor even activities were kind of shut down. So it did put like a stop in my training, which I feel like had like a negative effect. I feel like coming back and doing some summer training, I'm like, oh, like I forgot how to use my hands, since even like indoor, like I would play co-ed, but it was like anything else besides keeper. So I was like, it kind of felt like a new, like starting up again. So it did take a little while to, I guess, readjust. But yeah, hopefully, I mean, up from now, I guess.
Were you playing more in the field because you felt you'd get more conditioning out of that, and that's what you're looking for?
Yeah, more conditioning-wise, but I do love playing keeper. It's more like the adrenaline rush, but yeah, indoor it was more keeping in shape for the season to come.
I think one of our guests later on will also agree with you. The goalie is probably the most important position of every sport. Mm-hmm. What did you bring back from last year, from 2 years ago? Gosh.
Seems like.
And what was the thing that drew you to being a goalie?
Honestly, the reason I got put as a goalie was because I was the tallest on the team. So I literally, like, I've only been playing for a shorter amount of time than what like any of the girls have on the team. So I felt like it was really hard to get used to, but as like the years passed, I became like really adjusted, and I loved the adrenaline. I like being able to see, like being in the back of the field and seeing just everything happen. Being that back line just gives you more like ability to see the whole field and communicate with the rest of the team, like what's going on or what they can't see from like a higher perspective.
I think one of the things Coach Wilson had talked to me about you is how well you communicate with your defense and out there, and you know, that's one of the reasons you're a team captain and a team leader. But Jordan, you're a freshman. What are the things you brought that he said you were also elected captain from your teammates?
Yeah, honestly, it was pretty out of my comfort zone to be elected captain. I really haven't ever been like, I've never seen myself as like a leadership role in any of my teams, because it's kind of hard to like, once you're down, like you're not only having to get yourself out of your funk of like, we're losing, but you also have to get your team out of that funk and try and get their spirits up. And so I think it's just been a struggle for me lately, but it's been going good. I've been excited, and it's out of my comfort zone. So. Do
you have the teammates come up to you, or does Coach Wilson put something on you? Hey, Jordan, go fix that, or something like that?
Not so much. I mean, naturally, it's just kind of like my goal to keep everybody kind of on the same page and everybody getting along and like making sure that we're all working together. But yeah.
Now Magali's got a set position, and you kind of were originally listed as a defender, but you've been moving up kind of into the front a little bit more. You got the assist in that last game, right? So where do you feel most comfortable on the pitch?
Normally it's forward. I like,
Okay.
I'm an attacking-minded player, but over the past few years, I actually have been getting used to defense, and it's actually become my strong position. I was coached by Scott Williams. He's the assistant coach for Cal Poly, and he just totally grew my strength in defense and leadership in general because he kind of broke me out of my shell, like vocally. He kind of made me more communicative and like make sure that I'm getting my team up and all that jazz.
That's kind of like captain stuff.
Yeah.
Now, did you two play together in high school at some point? Did your times cross over
Yes, we
at
did.
Paso?
Mm-hmm.
So was Cuesta one of those things where I want to keep playing and I'm going to go here, or have you guys have aspirations to play at the next level as well?
I have always been super excited to go straight to a 4-year out of high school to play soccer, but it wasn't really part of my plan after COVID had hit. So after Cuesta, I think I'm just going to transfer and continue with my schooling. But I'm not sure.
For
what your
me,
plans
I did always have Cuesta in mind, just because I wanted to stay local. I am such like a mommy's girl, so I wanted to be able to still spend like a couple more years and get like, a transfer later on. I did want to play soccer. I love the sport, so I knew we had a good team, and I wanted to do that. But as like 2019 season came along, like I realized like, we're doing so good. I feel like I'm doing really good. Hopefully looking to transfer. But once the pandemic hit, I kind of got more centered on more schooling. I do want to do nursing, so I know we have a really competitive and really good program. So it's looking like this might be like the last season, and then I can focus on getting my RN and start my career.
Now, one of the things we talked about a little bit in the pre-show was the soccer field out at Cuesta College. One of the, we've talked about around the campus about moving them back up to the track, but Coach Wilson likes the wide open space of that field down there. What do you think about pitch size and how we let you guys play at Cuesta? Would you like a smaller field, longer field? How does that affect the game for you guys?
I think for us, a wider field is awesome with the new formation we've been trying. We tried a 4-4-2, which is mostly like outside wings playing up the field. And so when we go to fields with wider dimensions, then that kind of works out for us. But our field is great. It works out well with the 4-3-3.
Yeah, like she mentioned, we're able to like capitalize on like that width, get like those quick swings around, which is like really helpful. But yeah, like I'm really happy with our field. It's like and it's like not artificial. Artificial, it kind of hurts as a goalie when I'm diving. And it's not bumpy. It's like a smooth, like really good grass. So I really like our field.
Well, good luck to both of you the rest of the way. That does it for soccer here on Cuesta Sports Monthly. I'd like to thank Magali Avila and Jordan Bullard, and good luck to the Cougars the rest of the way. When we come back, we'll have men's water polo on Cuesta Sports Monthly.
This program is produced by Cuesta Broadcasting. Start your radio, TV, and film career at Cuesta College.
Time for men's water polo on Cuesta Sports Monthly. We are joined by goalie Colton Boyd and Caleb Ray. Colton, welcome to Cuesta Sports Monthly.
Thanks for having us.
You guys are having a bang-up season right now.
Oh, yeah.
We're looking at some of the records here and kind of into that historic level. As you guys here at 24-3 on the season, with about a month left to play. How are you guys feeling out there? You've got to be feeling pretty good.
Yeah, I think we're feeling really hot right now. I think we're going to keep continuing to play like this in the playoffs, in the conference, SoCal, and the state. I think we just keep playing the way we've been playing. Play as one. When we go out there and want to dominate a team, we can really go out there and dominate a team. I think personally. Personally, when I feel like I'm hot, and when the team's hot, we're just unstoppable, in my opinion, personally.
Now you guys have a ton of depth. You guys have guys back from 2 years ago, and 2019. We got to play 6 games last spring, and now we have a bunch of freshmen coming in this year. How have those three groups melded together?
Personally, I think we've been melting really good together. We have good team chemistry. We have good camaraderie, I think, as a team too. A lot of the freshmen that are coming in now are playing a lot. A lot of guys on that second line will come in. They can get us goals. They can play defense. You know, they're really part of the team. Like, they're really a team player. Like, I personally really like the freshmen this year. I think Marsh brought a good group of them in this year. Really did some good recruiting to bring them in, and I think they're really going to help us throughout the next month and a half to get us to state. Hopefully, get us a ring.
I think what Colton said earlier is really nice. We play as one. All the years that we have playing, I'm from 4 years ago, we got kids from this year, everyone's playing together. There's no single A string or B string. Everyone works as a unit. It's really nice.
Yeah, you guys, and it seems like you go through the whole lineup every game.
Oh, yeah.
You've had those opportunities where you see Coach Marsh will do a full line change, 6 players for 6 players for 6 players, and that's got to wear down teams a lot because you guys don't really have a drop off in those rotations there.
Yeah, and another thing with that is that when we play teams, you know, we're going to swim them. That's our thing. We're such a well-conditioned team, and that we have the ability to swim teams just into the ground. They won't be able to keep up with us in that second half, you know. So I think that's a big plus for us, is having that deep bench that we can go maybe 3 lines a game with. Even in the tougher games, we can go 3 lines and just be able to swim and sub with them.
Yeah, you can see you guys do not slow down that counter that whole time. How much of that change was because of that opportunity to play last spring and actually practice all season long last year?
I think it was really good to have that. You know, for me personally, I got hurt. I didn't play in the fall. I didn't get to practice that whole fall. I come back in that January, still banged up, not in shape. You know, that was a rough spring for me. But just getting to practice all through that winter, or like the winter through the spring right there, just being able to get, you know, back into shape and stuff in that summer of this last year, coming into this fall for this season, it helped me, and I think it helped the team a lot, because we've been grinding for almost a year straight now, and I feel like being able to play games and being able to go out there and show teams and show people like what we are and what we're about has just helped us just climb and keep climbing that ladder to get to where we want to be.
I think a huge factor is our swim season too. The same kids who play polo, if you want to play next year, you have to swim. There is no off season for water polo. I think it's really impressive what Marsh is able to do with us as a team.
Now, Caleb, you've kind of grown up in the program.
Oh, yeah.
But and so you see this probably from an expanded vision. Your father played here. He was a goalie here, and your mother was the first and only women's water polo player on the men's team here at Cuesta College. So that's really a unique spot right there with mom and dad.
I have an impressive couple people to look up to, that's for sure.
So you have a greater thing. What do you see with this team when you look back, and you've been here for a few years? What do you see this team? Do you see something different that you've seen the last couple of years?
Oh, yeah. Well, my first year I didn't play too much, but the second year we almost we won conference. And then we went pretty far into state. This year it's the same good things you've seen every year. It's the counter, it's the strong offense, it's the hard defense. That's what really brings it out, is that hard defense on our team. And this year it's all the same good things, just +1. Everything is better. Our unit is incredible this year. So I'm really excited for the rest of the season to come.
Now, when you came over here, you came over here from Porterville. You were as a goalie. What was the thing that brought you into the goalie as a goalie? I was a terrible swimmer, so that's why.
I still can't swim. So a big thing for me was, you know, I played field in my freshman year of high school. I split between field and cage. I would go half and half, and then sophomore year I decided I needed to pick one, and I wasn't really good of a swimmer, so I was, you know, I'm gonna play goalie. And I really kind of taught myself how to play goalie. I went to a couple of camps with Merrill Moses, and he taught me a lot of stuff at his camps that I still bring over now. And then obviously having Marsh coach me, you know, and now I have, you know, Chandler Mankins, who used to play here. He is a coach with us too, and he helps me and another 2 goalies out. So I think personally being a goalie is one of the best things is the best position. Like, you know, like the soccer girls were talking about earlier, you know, you make a save and you can make, as you've seen from your perspective on me, when I make a good save, I get hyped, I'm screaming, you know, I'm letting them know that I'm here. But yeah, that's pretty much what brought me into being a goalie, is that, you know, I wanted to just be a factor. Like, I wanted to be an X factor and like make a I should say, like, make like a, I don't even know how to say it.
Make an impact.
Yeah, there you go. Make an impact on the game, like the X factor. Make an impact. So that's what kind of brought me into being a goalie.
Now, Caleb, you had a different kind of path here because you went to Central Coast New Tech in Napomo,
Yeah.
which doesn't have athletics.
No.
So kind of explain your journey, how you got to play and all that.
I hadn't played much sports before. I played a little bit of water polo when I was in 8th grade, but I joined the swim team, and then I was like, well, I like being in the water. I'll join the polo team. My senior year of New Tech, I was playing for Napomo High School at the time. And then Cuesta College was always in the books for me. So I came here, walked right on the deck, said I'm playing water polo, and then I've been here ever since. I redshirted a season, played a season, COVID one season, finally playing my last. So ready to keep going.
Senior year. No, what do you guys as you're I joke about the senior year, but what are your plans for next year? I mean, you talked about a couple of schools you were looking for, kind of Big West type schools.
So I have 2 schools in mind three schools that I would like to hope to go to. Number 1 is probably UC Davis right now. When we played against them, I think I played really good against them, and I think I showed them that I could play at the next level. Another one, Pepperdine's. I would like to go to Pepperdine and play too, maybe.
Not a bad school.
Not a bad school. A little expensive, but not a bad school. And then the third one that's contacted me has been Redlands. I was originally recruited from them out of high school, but I knew I wouldn't be able to get in just because of the grade situation. So I decided to come here. Marsh contacted me. Marsh has contacted me throughout the whole polo season, my senior year, basketball season. Come take a look. So I decided, why not come give it a try. Immediately fell in love with the place. This is my second home. I'm glad I'm here. I love it here. This is probably one of the best decisions I ever made, was to come here and play polo, and hopefully continue to play at the next level too.
Now, after moving from Porterville to here, is it going to be tough to go back inland for you?
I don't think so. Porterville, from here to Porterville was a big change. I fell in love with it here, obviously, because we're not inland that far. It's not the valley. Everyone gives the valley stuff, but I think if I would go to Davis or Pepperdine, I think I'd love Davis. It's isolated, but I heard it's a great place, and I heard a lot of great things. Nothing good but Davis. And then Pepperdine, obviously, you're right, a mile from the ocean.
Well, I went to Pepperdine, so I'm going to say that's a great place to go. Well, then we'd like to thank Colton Boyd and Caleb Ray for joining us here on Cuesta Sports Monthly. And as we return with Cuesta Vice President Jason Curtis.
This program is produced by Cuesta Broadcasting. Start your radio, TV, and film career at Cuesta College.
Welcome back to Cuesta Sports Monthly. I'm joined by Vice President of Instruction, Jason Curtis. Jason, welcome back to Cuesta Sports Monthly. It's been a long time since we've had a chance to meet in the studio together, but I'm glad to have you back. Things have changed since the last time you were here. You were still a dean. But just before that pandemic, you were moved up to Vice President of Instruction. What are some of those changes that you've gone through so far?
Yeah, it was an interesting experience. The board confirmed me as the permanent Vice President of Instruction in early March of 2020, and then on March 13th we had the big meeting and decided that we needed to close the college for a couple days and move everything remote we thought maybe for a couple weeks, and it ended up stretching through the summer and well into the fall, and I think most of us know the rest. So I'm still waiting to have some normal months as Vice President of Instruction, and we'll see when we get there.
Yeah, that was a big change to throw on you right away, but you seem to handle it pretty well. Students have been doing well, and classes have been going, as normal pretty much.
Yeah, I'm really grateful to just everyone's approach to it. Everyone's been shown one another a lot of grace and patience working through it, and just trying to keep in mind that we're here for the students and that we want to provide the best experience possible for the students. And I think we've done that. I stand behind what we've done so far.
Well, you talk about the students, and that's kind of the great thing about being a Vice President of Instruction, is that you were a teacher for a long time. Do you feel that comes into play in your administrative role? And How much do you miss teaching the kids?
It's definitely a big part of it. I mean, I hope that it gives me some rapport to be able to work with the faculty, to work towards making things better in the classroom, because as good as things are, we always want to aim a little bit higher and see what we can improve and improve where we can. And yeah, I definitely miss it. I miss it a lot. I mean, I'm not sure I miss things like rapid switches to being fully online. You know, I don't think that was easy for anyone, but there are times, you know, I taught biology for 14 years, and I do look back on that fondly from time to time.
Well, that's a good question right there. I'll ask you this one right now. How does having a doctorate in the genetics of parasites, I did my research, how does that translate into leadership?
Yeah, what's funny, not funny about it is that one of the last courses I taught before I got the job here at Cuesta and moved from Indiana to SLO was a course on epidemiology. And so early on in all of this, when there was a lot of unknowns and the news was going back and forth and the research was still unclear, I was never sure if I was allowed to put on my epidemiology expert hat when we were having meetings about what to do next, or whether I should just stay in my administrative role. So, you know, I've tried to balance the two.
Yeah, it's kind of, I think that was kind of the toughest, is the way things changed daily sometimes made it difficult to kind of follow up right there. So there's a lot of answers coming from a lot of places, and that was a little tough for everybody. But, you know, we got through that. But now it seems like what I'm hearing is there's going to be more changes on campus. There's a reorganization coming.
There's just a small reorganization in terms of how our different academic departments, divisions we call them, are grouped together in clusters. We're really thinking a lot about the Guided Pathways Initiative, which asks us to think about ways to get students on the path in a more clear and concise way and make sure students stay on their path. So working on developing areas of study, sort of broad areas, sometimes they're called meta majors, so a student can say, I'm generally interested in health and wellness, I'm not sure exactly what that means, and take classes to learn more about some of the different career paths in that area, and then make a choice of a major and work toward a degree.
So they can almost create their own majors through their classes, or how's that working?
No, just the similar majors are grouped together so that if a student, for instance, thinks they're pre-nursing but struggles in physiology, maybe they can find a related major, use the anatomy they've taken, not have to take that physiology class, and still get to a good completion outcome at the end for the student, and hopefully a job.
Yeah.
Jobs are good.
Jobs are always good. Now, because you're, you know, Vice President of Instruction and stuff like that, I'm just kind of, and another person who escaped Orange County to come here as a student at Cuesta College, how much do you still feel that you relate to those students and what they're going through? And that's, you know, do you kind of go, you know, what happened when I was a student? Do you have those moments?
I try not to. I mean, we have so many different kinds of students, and I use my experience to remind me of that. But I always say, you know, we've been focusing a lot on our equity work and our work around student equity, and I recognize that when I came here, I was a fairly privileged student. I had a couple years of four-year college under my belt. I bounced back to the community college level for a couple years. And, you know, I knew a lot about how colleges worked. I knew about challenging prereqs. I knew about credit by exam and things like that. And so I used it to my advantage. And a lot of our students don't arrive with that knowledge. And so we need to help our students.
Now, I'm going to transition a little bit over here into athletics, sort of athletics. It was a question you and I had a brief conversation about this earlier this week. But esports and the emergence of that. We're already talking about the emergence of maybe women's beach volleyball or women's wrestling, but this seems to be the new hot thing right now, and I just want to kind of get that started with
yeah, I'm not sure how hot of a thing it is. I mean, I think I'd rather see beach volleyball and women's wrestling than esports. But when we think about the real role of athletics and why it was so important for me to make sure we preserved athletics, as much as possible during the pandemic. I mean, we really committed early to keeping the teams practicing, keeping those opportunities open. And it's because athletics is important for student engagement and for giving the students a sense of connection to Cuesta. And so if esports, if having a computer gaming team helps us offer that engagement, that connection to more students, then I think we need to look into it as an option.
Yeah, one of the things, this is kind of a question, and this is going to be a little controversial if you don't mind. But I was looking at the three sports that they've been using is Fortnite, which is a survival shooting game, Overwatch, which is a first-person shooter game with 2 teams of 6, and League of Legends, which is an online battle arena. With the prevalence of school shootings, is it right to have those type of video games?
I don't know if it's right or not. I mean, I think that's a valid question. Most of our students are adults, and you would hope they could make the distinction between the fantasy and reality of the game. You know, Fortnite doesn't have blood per se. It's a little more cartoony, but you know, I think that's a very valid concern. Is that could we find a game, an e-sport that's a little bit involves a little less violence? That might be nice.
Okay. Jason, thank you very much for your candor. Thank you for joining us here at Cuesta Sports Monthly. That concludes today's edition of Cuesta Sports Monthly. We'd like to thank today's guests, Colton Boyd, Caleb Ray, Magali Avila, Jordan Bullard, and Dr. Jason Curtis. Remember to stay up to date on all your Cuesta information on the Cuesta Athletics website. This show is produced at Cuesta College by the Cuesta Film, Television, and Electronic Media Department as part of the Cuesta TV project. I'm Peter Schuler, and for all of us here at Cuesta College, thank you for watching, and thank you for your support of Cuesta College Athletics.